Paul.
Josh.
Mike.
ManiacsMeat Podcast. We're back again. Drink it. 1989. We're finishing out the decade. Here we go. So, here's the list.
Give you the list. Look at that.
It's already here.
Ready
The list is already. It went. What did happen to the list? He ruined it. Okay, here we go.
Like
here's the list.
delete your history.
Bitch, watch mine. My life is a nightmare. I had that Rod Sterling one where it says, what I have to tell everybody that's going to look at my life, what you're about to witness is a nightmare. Okay, it was 976 Evil. 3615 Code Pierre Noël. There we go. I've never heard of that.
Film.
The Pierre Noël. There we go. No, it sounds Italian.
Oui,
Okay,
oui.
after midnight, we're going to get our cocks out. Amityville 4, Beasties, Begotten, Beware, Children at Play, which is actually a very fun trauma film. Beyond the Door 3. I have Beyond the Door 1, but not 2 or 3. Black Pass, Black Rainbow, Chud 2, Bud the Chud. There it is. The Carpenter, Celestia, The Cellar, Chopper's Chicks in Zombie Town, The Church. Oh, that's the one.
Church.
Oh, no.
My church.
Which I didn't bring that either.
Choice.
Clown House, The Curse 2, Cunning Class, Dark Tower, The Dead Next Door, The Death King, Deceit, Don't Panic, Dr. Caligari, Edge of Sanity, Elves, Family Reunion, Flesh-Eating Mothers, Freak Show, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, Grandmother's House, Grave Robbers, Grim Prairie Tales, which actually was a pretty actual funny, stupid fucking anthology film.
Ooh.
Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers, The Headhunters, Hellgate, High Desert Kill, The Horror Show, The House of Clocks, Howling 4, or Howling 5 rather, The Rebirth, the one in the castle with the dumb blonde, I Madman, Intruder, Killer Crocodile, Las Vegas Bloodbath, Leviathan, Lobsterman from Mars, Maya, Metamorphosis, The Alien Factor, which I have that on VHS, Monster High, Murder Weapon, Mutator, Nightlife, Night Visitor, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, Offerings, Out of the Dark, Pagadini Horror, which I have that one, Parents, which we were talking about that one, yep. Pet Cemetery, Family of the Mall, Eric's Revenge, Psycho Cop, Puppet Master, The Red Monks, Shocker, Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, Better Watch Out, Skinned Alive, Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland, another nice boob fest, Society, Spontaneous Combustion, Stepfather 2, Stephanie in the Incinerator. I kept on wanting to see. I want to see that one. I never did. The Suckling, Testistos, The Iron Man, Things, which Things was on 88 too, which is weird. So I don't know if that's a screw up.
Things?
Yeah. The Toxic Avenger Part 3 or 2, and the Toxic Avenger Part 3 came out in the same year.
Yeah, they're copping, pumping them out.
Were they held back, and that's why they didn't get released until that time, or was it like a?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think they just made that movie so long they just broke it into 2 movies.
Right. Vampire's Kiss, The Vineyard Warlock, Whisperers, Witch Story, and The Woman in Black. And there's the list from 1989.
What? Who you gonna pick?
What are you gonna pick?
What am I gonna pick? I picked 976 Evil.
976 Evil.
Yeah.
So you just said, fuck it, I'll take the top of the list.
I said, I'm not reading this. 976 Evil is pretty good. It's right at the top. That's what I'm going for.
There you go. So Stephen Jeffries, he did Gay Ford for a while.
I just like it. There's nothing particularly about it that I really enjoy. I just like the movie a lot.
I like the fact that in that picture he looks like Danny Filth. Doesn't he?
I like the feel of 976 Evil.
Mm-hmm.
I like the feel of it.
Do you like the way it touches you?
I thought about Shocker,
Mm-hmm.
but Shocker, I just didn't quite have what I was looking for.
Right.
And I thought about Puppet Master too. Actually, the first Puppet Master.
First Puppet Master.
Good.
That Slug Girl, man. Oh, yeah. She gets me fucking.
But 976 Evil, I just really liked it.
Putting those leeches right on your titties.
Mm-hmm.
Like cranking one out.
Mm-hmm.
I like
her gag noises. I don't know, something about it. I like it.
I like the makeup. The only makeup thing I didn't like with it were the hands, the claw hands that he had.
Yeah.
But outside, I thought all
Big
around it was all around like solid horror film. I just liked it.
I always found 976 Evil to be one of those films, and we've done this, where you have like a Halloween party and you put it on.
Yes.
No one watches it.
But it's good.
But
it's
it's still
comforting
like,
to be there.
And you go and you look and you go, oh, and then you go back to talking.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of films. I always found that to be that kind of film.
It's got Robert Picardo from Star Trek.
Robert
Voyager.
Picardo and The Howling. That's what I don't remember him from any of that dork shit. I remember from The Howling. So there you go. I just like the one thing he said. He goes, I have a college education. I've been on Broadway, and now I'm here sitting in a chair covered with latex, pretending to be a werewolf.
Yeah.
He goes, where's my life going? That kind of thing. But I always thought he was a great actor.
Let's not forget Warlock in '89.
Yeah, Warlock. I don't like that film, but I have the soundtrack for some reason on double LP.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I consider... Now, here's my problem. Because I knew I was having a problem with '89. Something was bothering me with '89.
Okay.
The Church and Intruder.
Okay.
It's more Michele Savio. It's Savoy. It's got that Italian craziness. It's just disgusting. There's beautiful demon rape in it, where the whole goat guy comes out and has sex with the girl. Like, it's so, you know what I mean? Like, beautiful. But then you have Intruder. With Danny Hicks. That is just a fun,
you and your Danny Hicks.
Beautiful moment.
You gotta respect the underdogs, man.
It's got Sam Raimi. It's got Ted Raimi. It's got everything like that. So it's like, yes, technically this is a better made film, but I still want to say that if I had to, it's like, hey, should we watch Intruder or The Church? Intruder. I'm going to pick Intruder. So I'm going to pick Intruder for this one as well.
That's the way to do it, really. Like, when you're having those kind of arguments, you're like, all right, like, somebody's like, which one do you want to watch, this or this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, your gut, you go with the gut, and that's the one that you gotta
I always like it. I always find it very comforting that we begin, I would say the decade that didn't start slashers, but made them a cliche popular thing.
Yeah, that brought them to what they were.
It brought them to the public.
Yeah.
So it starts on slashers in 1980, and it ends with a good. I consider Intruder a good slasher. That's not campy. That's not stupid. That's not like being a joke on itself. So it ends with a good slasher, or it starts with a good slasher, and I think Intruder ends the decade with a nice slasher.
I agree with that.
I think so. And and of
Dilly
course,
Dilly.
The Dilly Dilly, and of course we love the rest in peace, the Danny Hicks.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck Bud Light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dilly Dilly's the only thing I ever came good out of that shit.
Oh, is that from that?
Yeah.
I just thought it was some weird gay thing.
Well, that might be too.
Dilly Dilly.
Is that what they're doing at the truck stop nowadays?
Yeah.
Dilly
Well,
Dilly?
I should ask Bobby.
Bobby.
Oh, that's funny.
Inside joke.
Yeah, slobby.
You won't get it.
So what do you got, Josh?
Cum dump.
I got The Dead Next Door.
I love the fact that Bruce Campbell did a voiceover for the whole film.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good movie. I love how all the characters are horror icons named after them. I love the fact that it plays on, I kind of feel like today's culture where the people are protecting or standing up for things that shouldn't be, like pedophilia.
Oh, yeah.
That's where they are with the zombies.
Yeah.
You know, they're humans too, and they have rights.
No, they're not. No,
and it's kind of like, no, they're not.
No,
and it's funny to see those people, they're picketing around the department, Squambizade department, and stuff. I really think that's funny.
Well, I think it's funny because it's showing that this is going to happen, guys. We're going to get these idiots that want to protest everything, and stand up for everything. And now, if you look on the streets today, we have that. You cannot. They protest for literally everything that's bad.
It's almost a Near to the Future for back then.
Yeah, no, basically, yeah. It's
I love Mercer. He's half zombie, half human. He can control his urges, but he's still undead.
Well, at the end, because he's pissed.
Oh yeah, because he doesn't get attacked by the zombies, but he doesn't have the urge to kill his friend. So
I love the fact that Mercer actually gets revenge at the end.
Yeah.
And he's pissed.
Yep.
He's like, no, fuck you, bud.
No,
like,
yeah.
like,
yeah, that's
the whole story of J.R. Brookwalter starting doing like the City of the Vampires and stuff with Michael Jonathan Walsh or something like that. He was in that one. He did the music and played in Midnight 2 because John Russo worked with J.R. Brookwalter on Midnight 2. When he did Deck Next Door, he called this little guy named Sam Raimi, and he's like, hey buddy, I really like your stuff, and helped him fund Dead Next Door. You know what I mean? Helped make this possible. And then after Dead Next Door was shot, Bruce Campbell took the one policeman and did his overvoice for his whole thing. And I was like, why does this guy sound just like Bruce Campbell? We were watching it for the first time. We're like, oh, well, that's why. That's interesting. So what does he actually sound like?
Probably. So I got kicked in the balls, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Or
he sounds like this.
Is this with Rajuvi? But you know, I just think that's it's kind of interesting that these low. I actually saw a really cool film called, was it Shock Cinema? I think it's called.
All right.
It's a documentary about low budget filmmakers, and of course J.R. Bookwater was definitely one of them. Unfortunately, I went to the Living Dead weekend last year with this cover. I was hoping to find J.R. Bookwater, who was supposed to be there. I didn't see him. I was going to get him to sign this cover. But
this kind of falls in that category of friends getting together and making a good movie.
Yeah, and that's the way, I mean, we were talking about this before, that I feel this whole privatization through, like, you know, the film unions and things like that ruined horror films. They ruined horror films because you get this. The old school horror films were made because a bunch of people who wanted to make this fucking film and however they could do it, made the film. Now we have a bunch of people who want to make money and don't care about the film making the film.
The overproduced horror films is an issue.
It is an issue.
It is an issue. I know we've gone this a million times, but I still blame Scream for stuff like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Scream is horrible.
I think that stuff was present in the '80s even, but I think even then though they kind of they were like, yeah, like give them like a decent bit of budget, and like they didn't pay much mind to it, and they were just like, yeah, it'll make money, like it's fine, and they just kind of let them go. But I really think Scream just changed that whole.
I mean, I even look at, just look at basically the franchise films for starting this pandemic that we have to deal with now with shitty horror films. I mean, you can even look at the Halloween 4 once that came out. You see the trend. You can see, look at all the Friday the 13th, all the Nightmare on Elm Streets definitely didn't do anything good for the future of film. Yeah. And now, of course, that spawned the Scream and all this shit, and then the Grudge and Noah did the Summer and all this kind of crap.
They weren't so much about this like a story anymore. They were just about like let's just keep pushing the character.
It became hokey at the point where they're playing on itself now.
Yeah.
Which is funny because part of me, I'm like, I like that. I love it like that. There's like a million Friday the 13th movies. Like I love that you can I kind of like that, but at the same rate, I'm also like.
You like the nostalgia.
I want a good story though with it too, or at least like a halfway decent one. Like come up with a story and then be like, this would make a great Jason film.
I like a concise, firm story with a solid beginning that culminates, no matter how many films it takes, to a solid end.
Yeah.
I don't care if you do it in 5 films or 1 film or 2 films, but don't diverge from the idea that you started with. That kind of thing. Yeah. And I think, Friday, Nightmare on Elm Street just went bananas.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, if you look at the very first Nightmare on Elm Street to the last one ever made, it became almost like Freddy became like a cartoon character.
It was a cartoon character.
Like at first, he was kind of serious in the beginning, where he was actually wanted revenge and wanted to do his thing, but he became like a joke of one-liners.
And it's even kind of weird, like when you look at Freddy, because the first Friday Nightmare on Elm Street, like scary film. The second one was shitty, and then the third one, which I do really like a lot. I like the Dream Warriors, but it's not it went like this really weird route from like legitimate horror film, really shitty movie, and then like horror movie, but like kind of fantasy. They really pushed they really swung it to like dream powers and like all this shit that it had the progression of it didn't seem very fluid to me.
Right.
It didn't
No.
go right.
No, I completely agree with you. Well, we got more tractor fucking, and it's done. But no, I completely agree with you. Like, it doesn't have the same feel. Like, and on the other thing is, too, like, the whole Evil Dead thing. What's film's better? Everyone picks Evil Dead 2. No. I want either traditional fucking horror, which is Evil Dead 1, or I want to go fucking balls to the wall, and I'm going to pick fucking Army of Darkness. I'm not going to pick Evil Dead 2. I'm not going to pick a dark comedy when I have either pure horror or pure chaos. Like, I'm not doing it, but everyone wants to pick Evil Dead 2 because it's shot better, it looks better, because no one can stand a blurry TV or whatever the fuck, because everyone's completely fucking spoiled and worthless anymore.
I think there's a strong argument for Friday the 13th, the first 4 of them, that they actually tell a pretty consistent story with Jason.
It's a contrivance because we have one set factor. This guy named Jason died here, but he's still there and he kills teenagers. That's all they're running on.
And like, and the first one is his mom, and then Jason actually
Yeah.
does show up, and I felt like those first couple Friday the 13th movies, it was a true continuation
Yeah.
of the story. Like,
But
it made
at the
sense
same
to me.
time,
but then
though,
it started and then like
Part
he's going
5
to Manhattan, which is awesome, but like, why? That doesn't make sense.
There is a transition of Jason. There is the original Jason where mom comes back, finds out he's not dead, right? Of course, whatever. And then there's Jason killing people. I get it. Then Jason actually dies in part 4. Then the guy copycats Jason in part 5.
Yep.
Then they resurrect Jason by accident like a Frankenstein.
Sick,
and
yeah.
then modern day, actually, you cannot kill him, Jason exists.
Yeah.
I find it harder to believe part 4 Jason than part 6, 7, and 8. Not because he's a zombie. Like, he's zombified, you can't kill him. Here, he's just a big, dumb human.
Yeah.
That you can easily put a bullet in his head and he should die. But for some reason, he didn't.
They were still toying with that idea of like making the unstoppable slasher killer guy.
Because
Like,
and
they
the
were
thing
still
is, but it
playing with
worked.
that stuff, I
It
think.
properly worked once 6 happened. Because like in 4, he gets the hatchet through the head and it slides down on it, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, you're dead now, bud.
Dead, buddy.
You're dead now, bud." And now Corey Feldman, right?
Corey
Hayes.
Feldman,
Is it
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman, like he's been in literally everything.
Yeah. He's so saturated in the 80s and everything.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that's like simple royalties. How are you not a billionaire, let alone a millionaire? Like he's been in everything.
Because he spoke out against the pedophile elite.
Yeah, because of the fact that the other thing, he was raging in alcohol. He was doing about $1 billion of drugs per year too.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
what I always said. I go, it has nothing to do
he's the younger version of that.
It has nothing to do with Jeffrey Jones touching you. It was about you blowing your candy or money up your nose.
Yeah, like, could you actually like Charlie Sheen and Corey Feldman in the same room? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's one of those like.
There's not enough cocaine in the world.
Yeah, I have tiger blood. I shoot tiger blood. Things happen. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a crazy thing, and there you go.
So notable mentions: Puppet Master and Shocker.
Those are I like those. I like those.
Shocker was a great film.
Shocker was a great film.
Love the soundtrack. That was one
underrated. I thought Shocker was really underrated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Dudes of Wrath was a combination of a couple guys from the 80s. Paul Stanley from Kiss being the lead singer. But that was like the major soundtrack of the 80s for horror film. Not the major soundtrack,
No.
but it
Vampire's
was
Kiss is enjoyable even too. Like
I
the
have that
Nick Cage
on
Vampire
VHF.
movie. I finally found it on DVD just like 2 weeks ago.
I find it disappointing. I think Vampire's Kiss is highly disappointing because
You got
it's
Nick
not.
Cage is almost Nick Cage-iest. in
Yeah,
Vampire's
I don't
Kiss.
know. Yeah, but it's like like because you're going into Vampire's Kiss knowing it's not a horror film,
Yeah.
so it shouldn't be on the list.
I don't think it should be on the list either. I was kind of surprised, but I'm gonna bring it up.
when you go towards the whole like you're going into this thing and it's not horror, right? So you're comparing it to 2 other films. You're comparing it to My Best Friend's a Vampire and Once Bitten.
Yeah.
And compared to those
Yeah, you're
compared to those 2 films, Vampire Kiss sucks.
Well, yeah, those other 2 are comedic though. Also, I
Well,
mean,
that's
there's
Vampire's
the
Kiss.
comedy
Is that a serious fucking poetic justice? I don't know. It's just like, and then the guy randomly comes in and knocks the thing through his thing, and he walks away. And he gets. I don't know. I don't know. It's just a weird. It's a weird thing. I always found Vampire's Kiss to be a very weird film.
It is a weird film.
It's like I have weird feelings about this film. I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's one of those kind of deals. What do you think about Vampire's Kiss? With Nicky Cage.
I haven't seen that since it was USA Express after school.
After school, USA Express.
So that's or during school, homesick kind of thing. Probably the last time I watched that. But I mean, I remember Nicolas Cage in it.
Yeah.
That is Cageiest, I think.
Yeah.
That's one of the most
He is
Nick
very
Cage-
cagey.
Like the most
Yeah.
Nick Cage is something.
My favorite
It's like
Nick.
Raising Arizona kind of.
I'll tell you what. As far as Nick Cage films go, I'm picking like Face Off.
Oh, I thought you were picking Wicker Man.
No, the bees, you bitches. No, I would definitely have to say Face Off and Con Air. Con Air are probably my 2
yeah, Con Air,
favorite Nick Cage films.
Nick Cage,
You guys
I
watch
didn't think
Mandy
about-
yet?
I didn't-
No,
I want to watch Mandy.
We were talking about Mandy. We could do that for a Fresh Meat episode.
the Fresh Meat, Mandy, and I'm supposed to watch Color Out of Space, but I'm not
Color
into
Out
it.
of Space. I take Nick Cage and Color Out of Space. That was fucking great. I like Color Out of Space a lot.
Well,
And
someone
Nick
let me
Cage in it
borrow
was
it. I'll watch
Color
it.
Out of Space was good.
Okay.
I really
Surprisingly, I actually liked it. Yeah, it was.
We're getting forced off here because they
You're
want to have a
almost
fire. I want to have a fire. It's not even dark yet, but it is what it is. So here's our last 1989. Next time we're going to see you. We're going to see you in 2 weeks from now. We're going to do the decade overview, and then we're going to do some more horror. Well, are we going to do what? You know, was I gonna
I don't
say?
know. We're gonna. What,
We're going to do a Christine and
are we gonna
classic
do? Are
cars
we gonna
from
do the face?
70s.
Are we gonna do a face off like a face off? Not to make a Nick Cage
Things happen.
Are we gonna pit some horror movies against each other? Or how,
I mean, I don't know. We'll have to figure out what. I mean, I thought we were supposed to do Christina Maximum Overdrive.
I'm totally
We
okay
can do
with
that next time. Yeah.
I'm not into any of it.
I love
But,
all of it.
there you go. That's good. I like it. Yeah. Who was it? Worst worst films from notable directors.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
actually.
that's actually. Oh my god!
Soda
But it has to
machine
be
kills a
before.
guy.
It has to be before 1999 though, because there's a lot of people.
Well,
who,
when's Spider-Man come out? Because I think that's Sam Raimi's worst film.
But there's a lot. Like I say, there's a lot of films who came
Does
out
it have
in
to be a horror
2000s,
film, or-
I think pretty much every horror director made a horrible film after fucking 1999, pretty much. Now, there's one film I'll tell you right now, and I'm almost ashamed to say it, but the film might suck. I don't know. I never saw it. Was Bruiser from George Romero. Never saw it.
Oh, I never saw that. Yeah, yeah.
I
I know Night Riders is the shit.
Night
Riders is
Riders,
awesome.
1981. Oh yeah. But anyway, this has been Paul,
Josh.
and Mike.
Maniacs Meat Podcast, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.